All right, doing another video outside today because my mom enjoys it, and also it is glorious. It is so beautiful that there is no reason not to be outside all day. So I wanted to talk to you about what happens when your uncontested divorce becomes contested. Okay, so this gets really tricky, right? Because in your mind, you thought you and your spouse agreed on everything. You thought that you were going to be able to have an uncontested divorce, it wasn't going to cost you very much money, and that you were going to be able to finish this process amicably and maybe even in a respectful, loving way. So what happens when that uncontested divorce turns into something that is clearly contested? One, I'm going to tell you this. You really didn't have an uncontested case unless you had an agreement signed on the dotted line, okay? You had a hope that it was going to be uncontested. You had a desire for it to be uncontested. You certainly had the goal of it being uncontested, but unless you had a document with all the terms already written out, you only had that. It was still just an idea. It really wasn't a real thing. So to you, your case went from uncontested to contested. In our office, your case went from a divorce to another type of divorce. There's nothing new about these cases falling apart with an agreement. It's just kind of like every day. Sometimes you have an agreement that falls apart. You are trying to buy a car, but then you can't get the money to work. You have put an offer on a house. And then they don't take it. So think of your uncontested divorce like that. Like, I'm putting an offer on an uncontested case, and I may or may not be able to get my spouse to join me in that. And if they don't, that just means we haven't been able to reach the terms yet. Okay, if you are in the process of getting an agreement, and we started with that, and we haven't filed anything, and your spouse hasn't filed anything either, no worries. You have the framework for what will ultimately be a settlement agreement, whether it be down the road in mediation or at, right before trial. You have a good framework for what you want, and we know that, and we can frame your entire case around that. The only thing that's going to have to change is we're going to have to file. And it's no big deal. You're going to have to file anyway. So go ahead and let us know when those negotiations fall apart, and we'll be ready to file, and we'll get you on your way. And it hopefully still will be as painless and as easy and as amicable as possible. Don't put so much weight on whether it's contested or uncontested. That's great if it is, and we need more of those. But don't worry so much about whether it's got that name. It's all about how you interact with your spouse to protect your children, your future, your finances.